and gentlemen, I don't know what this is. It looks like it just came out of the basement. Master. Worldwide. Master. Master something.
Welcome back to another episode of MasterBetting. We are back on schedule. I'm Nugs, joined as always by Ferg. After our little Memorial Day delay, after 5 days, we're back. Ferg, how you doing?
Good, brother. Good. It was a great weekend. Pretty chill, pretty relaxing. I shouldn't say that. I think since the last time we talked, I played men's league softball on Wednesday. We got trounced. I played in a volleyball league with some friends on Thursday, which was a lot of fun, and we won both matches. And then I played first week of co-ed softball started on Sunday. So I had a pretty full
Athletic
5
slate.
days, of doing sports. And then Parker Hawks starts back up soon, so we're about to get ready for that as well.
Looks like the Master Betters got their athletic
underway.
swerve on, dude. I did some bowling this past weekend. Think I freaking...
There we go.
Yeah, you know, peak athleticism, doing some bowling with the wife. You know, I took 2 out of 3, so freaking
Congrats.
take that, wife.
Congrats. What was your top score?
Like a 150.
Yeah, okay. That's not, I mean, honestly,
Pretty
it's
average.
not so bad. Yeah, it's pretty average. It takes a lot of practice to get to those 300 games. Little known fact, I was in a few bowling leagues throughout my years. I did one with restaurant and coworkers, but then my ex-wife and I, we joined another couple in a league for many years. And so I know some pretty good bowlers, and those guys take it pretty seriously. I do not.
No doubt. I wanted to tell you. Well, so my wife, her parents, she grew up in a bowling alley, as she lovingly refers to it, out in Yuma, Colorado, about all there is to do on a Tuesday or Thursday night or whatever it was. So it was funny. Dro was getting pretty pissed at the lane next to us. Just, this is a Sunday afternoon at 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Just something to kill the time before Game 7. Get to that here in a second. But dude, she's getting all fired up about these kids rolling while she's, I guess, approaching her shot. And before I was in a league, I didn't know that was a thing, but I learned that the hard way. But it was funny for the first time I played in a league. And
bowling etiquette is a very real thing, Nugs. I don't like it either.
It's a thing, but it was funny. The first time I was in a league, I'm 3 sheets to the wind, not knowing what I'm doing. Have a rental ball, rental shoes. I mean, guys are rolling up with compression sleeves and wrist guards and, too legit to quit Nike shirts on and just taking it pretty seriously. And I'm just throwing, like I said, the rental ball in my rental shoes. My first game, I rolled a 90, and I was kind of a last minute add to the team. So these guys are just like, what the hell? Pop a couple shots. No joke, Ferg. Best game I've ever bowled in my life. I bowled at 205.
Yes.
And then right back to a 90. So my next week, my average was pretty high, but by the end of the season, it all evened out, and my handicap was one of the highest or lowest in the league, however that works. But needless to say, it was a lot of fun for me.
Yeah, they are fun. Usually a lot of alcohol is consumed, and it's a real good time.
Yeah. Absolutely. I wanted to ask you, Ferg, and I want to ask you, but I don't. But you didn't go to that Morgan Wallen show, did you?
No, I did not. Peyton, my daughter, she went, and then I had some good friends that went as well. The good friends I had that went were less than impressed with the show. There was something of note in his first Denver show. Did you hear about that?
Something about a piano?
Yeah, so he got upset. I guess there were some technical difficulties revolving around the piano, and so he pushed the piano and then ended up tipping it over, which didn't bother me at all.
No, my wife's a huge Morgan Wallen fan, and Ferg is actually, I had to ask you, but I was reluctant to, because when you called me, because I'm not sure you remember, you called me and I was in the middle of bowling. And
Why would I not remember that?
Well, I don't know. Just you
I'm
never know what you
always
got going
joking.
on. It's pretty insignificant part of the day. But anyways, I called back when she went to use the restroom, and she gets back. She's like, "Who are you on the phone with?" And I said, "Oh, that was Ferg." And she's like, "Let me guess. He went to the Morgan Wallen show." She's like, "I hope he didn't." I'm like, "Wow, why are you throwing that at freaking my
I know.
co-host, my guy?" But I'm actually surprised, Ferg, that you did not make it to that show.
Well, I typically don't like to miss those kind of shows, those kind of events. So I understand why Audra thought I might have been there, but no, I did not go. Like I said, my friends bought tickets several months ago, and I think they paid over $300 for them. I just wasn't willing to, shell out that kind of dough.
I remember that was the same my biggest objection when the tickets first came out. She showed me, and that was my first objection. And I don't really know much about country or Morgan Wallen, but either way, just curious if you went, you didn't go. We'll move on. Ferg,
No, I
we
tell
are
you
gonna.
what though, I did hit a very nice MLB. Well, it was part MLB, part college baseball parlay last night. I went to a concert last night. The guys from Stick Figure, Johnny Cosmic and K Bong, which was really a hell of a show. I went with some friends to that, and during the show, I did pop a little. It was pretty significant. Bet. So had I hit that on Thursday, I might have been on that Morgan Wallen show on Saturday. Hey, something to note, something sports related. Morgan Wallen is known to bring local celebrities on stage to walk out with him to start the show. Any guesses? You may know this. Any guesses who walked out with him on Friday night?
I know it was John Elway.
Yeah, John Elway. John Elway walked out with him on Friday night. Now, do you know who walked out with him on Saturday night?
I don't. Peekaboo Street.
No, nobody. He had nobody walk out with him, which is kind of a uncommon thing for Morgan Wallen to not have somebody walk out with him. Some kind of local Denver celebrity. Not even Todd Helton. He did wear a Todd Helton jersey on Friday night. I saw, and or maybe that could no, that was he was on Friday because that's what he tipped the piano in was the Helton jersey. So, Morgan Wallen's
I
going to
mean,
do Morgan Wallen things. He's out here tipping pianos. He'll throw a chair off the balcony of his bar on Broadway. He's just going to, Morgan Wallen's going to Morgan Wallen.
he could have that second night. He could have, hit up Michaela Schifrin. Me personally, I would have hit up Michaela Schifrin, or he could have hit up Lindsey Vaughn. But I know Lindsey has a flavor for a different type of flair. So
I mean,
when
Bo
PK
Nix,
Subban
Bo
and
Nix would
Tiger
have been
Woods,
fine.
if Bo Nix isn't limping out there, take
Yeah,
him
I
out on his
mean,
crutches.
bring him out on his crutches. Yeah, why not? I just think there's plenty of guys or folks that could have gone out there on that Saturday night walkout. So I don't know, man.
With how much he likes country music, I'm surprised Peyton Manning wasn't considered. Maybe he was. Maybe he
He's
just wasn't in
he's
town.
done it. He's done it before with Morgan Wallen, so that's probably why. Anyway, got off
Yeah,
track a little bit. Elway, I know he's a hometown boy, so I thought you might be interested to know that he did walk out with Morgan Wallen night one.
I did. I will say from just watching stuff on social media, my two highlights of the show were the broken piano and John Elway being there. But you're right, we're getting a little bit off track, and we actually don't have a ton to get over. But the things that we do have to talk about are actually pretty substantial since the last time we talked. If you guys don't remember, we were a little bit late getting to you last week. Me and Ferg kind of got lost in the weeds with Memorial Day, so it's been 5 days since our last recording. Throwing Darts came out. But Ferg, let's just start with something I don't really have much to talk about. You let me spew my shit about the Avalanche, but first things first, I guess we'll go in chronological order. We got a Stanley Cup matchup. The Canada continues the drought, did not prevail, got smoked by the Carolina Hurricanes. So it's going to be Hurricanes Vegas in the Stanley Cup final.
Yeah, honestly, it couldn't be less exciting for me. I'm glad it's not the Canadians, but had it been the Canadians, at least I could root for the U.S. In this, I really don't have a horse in this race. I really don't care. But if I was picking, it'd be Carolina. There were 6 teams in the NHL that won more games than Vegas that missed the playoffs. So the way I look at it, Carolina is the far superior team. Maybe that's the thing I will bet. Maybe I'll just bet that Carolina sweeps.
I'm not sure about the odds. I know that they are minus 150 favorites to win the series. Carolina does have an opportunity here, Ferg, to set the record or hold the record for fewest losses in a Stanley Cup run. Right now, they're only sitting on one loss. So if they pulled off that sweep, 16-1 in the Stanley Cup Finals is a pretty impressive feat, and I would imagine that would hold up for a long time. But as always, we'll show our bets as the series goes on. Ferg, I do have one bet because that series does kick off Tuesday, tomorrow, June 2nd. I'm really skeptical because I know that against their only loss, the Hurricanes lost their game one against the Canadiens, and Vegas is, I don't know what to think about them if they're for real. I mean, they just beat the number one team in the NHL in the Avalanche. So right now I'm just sticking to over under 5.5. I'm going over 5.5 for that game one.
Love it. Well, I just looked at Carolina to sweep is plus 900 odds for them to take the sweep. I am going to go ahead and put a live bet in right now. Boom. There it is. I got Carolina on the sweep. $25 was going to pay. And I'll tell you right now, $25 will pay $250. Oh, well, that'll be the payout. It pay out $225.
Nice. We saw it here. Got game one in a series sweep. So, I think I'm rooting for the Canes too. I don't buy into that we lost to the best team type of consolation bullshit for the Avs.
Yeah,
so
right.
I'm rooting for the Hurricanes as well. So even more reason for, that's really it as far as I got for the NHL. We got the Stanley Cup matchup up. So look out for our bets on our social media. What I found far more intriguing over the weekend, Ferg, was, and since we last talked, so we had games 6 and 7 in the NBA Finals. And I found that to be more entertaining, more competitive. Maybe not competitive. Oklahoma City got blown out pretty good in game 6, but game 7 of the NBA Finals, that was pretty rewarding, Ferg.
Yeah, well, as you know, I called the Spurs to come out of the West at the beginning of the playoffs. I said they were going to win the West, that this was Wemby's year. I said they were going to play against the Celtics, and of course, we know that's not true. They are playing against the Knicks, and honestly, I like the Spurs to win this series. So I'm gonna call that out right here, right now as well. I think they're riding hot. Yeah, a lot of hype around him, and Wemby has really turned himself into, in my eyes, a real American superstar in the NBA. I know he's French, but you get what I'm saying. He's a superstar. He's reached superstar status in America as a Frenchman, which, I know that you've had the guys back in the day, the Yao Mings, and of course, today I'm wearing my Dirk Nowitzki playoff jersey, talking about foreign-born players, but a guy his size, I really like. He's fun to watch because most of those guys his size are not real fun to watch, but he's silky, he's smooth with it, and he plays at a high level, and boy, it's hard to get a shot up over him.
No doubt. We'll see. I'm still toying with it. I know I have my bet for game one, but I know that Knicks are the underdogs at plus 150. I'm still toying with it. I heard some things on the radio today that has me going back and forth. So we'll see. But Ferg, a couple things from that to take away from that game 7. So one stat I saw was SGA had not only in that game 7, but the worst series for a defending VP in game 7 of the Western Conference Finals. Shea was kind of nowhere to be found. Granted, he had no help. And then speaking of no help, Chet Holmgren, 4 points, 4 rebounds for someone who they're just signed a $240 million contract to that's about to kick in next season. He was trash.
Yeah. We talked about Chet Holmgren on a previous episode, and I'd said it then. He's one of the winningest players in NBA, maybe sports history. He won at all levels, at high school, college, and at the pro level as well. But yeah, he really didn't show up. I had him in that last game to get, I think, 9 rebounds, and I think he managed 4. Guys like 7'16" and got 4 rebounds. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, he was brutal, and towards the end of the game, I mean, he wasn't even trusted by the coach. Someone who is your certified on paper and who plays like it for most of the season, number two, was not
Right.
trusted at the end of the game. It was pretty bad. And another thing to take away from that game, Ferg, is the representation of MasterBetting on Reddit has gotten a stern warning about getting banned from that platform. I know it's only in its
Another one.
infancy.
Another one.
Yeah, this one was a little bit more stern. So I took the opportunity, Ferg, to go onto the Thunder subreddit, is what they call it, after
Okay.
the game, just because I was over the Thunder and they're flopping, and to watch them, I mean, and they were pretty pissed off about Chet Holmgren, don't get me wrong. And I just simply put a message out there that said, trade Chet, shoot Hartenstein. And it got removed.
Yeah, I don't think you can say shoot
Yeah.
somebody on
So
social
I
media right now. I think we're
broke a
not
community
only
guideline by,
I think we're not only facing a permanent ban, but we also may be facing some legal action. We're on a list. We're on a list, another list.
well,
Master
Ferg,
betting
you know
is
what?
on another list.
Or I just got to look at how I word it, because there were comments in there that said take Chet to the gulag, and off the top of my head, I can't remember what the gulag is, but I know it's not a happy place. So
Yeah, yeah. And those were fine. I just don't get it. Reddit seems a little
yeah,
bit biased against us. I don't know why, but it seems like
I
Reddit
don't
has it
either.
out for us.
I agree. Just being a little bit more direct. I mean, yeah, sure, I violated community guideline. I threatened violence, but
Should
the
you have put
gulag,
like
like I said,
JK, JK, JK at the end or something, so people knew you were making a joke?
you know what? Maybe I should have. I'm still navigating the waters unsuccessfully of what is acceptable on Reddit.
I don't know. I mean, you say unsuccessfully, but it sounds like a pretty successful time to me.
It's fun to talk about, and maybe I should think about my criteria, because at the end of the day, I think, would this make Ferg laugh? And I think something that might make Ferg laugh might not be appropriate to an entire community. But either way, I digress. Just another thing I
Sure.
took away from that game 7, and the Ferg, we did post it, and I did see that. So we actually had Drell get in on it. We posted 3 bets. You and I both thought that Oklahoma City was going to pull that game 7 out. Drell,
Despite my previous call out for the Spurs to be in this position.
so we both had OKC. Dro did pick the Spurs, but Wemby misses, got in foul trouble, misses his over-under points for 30 with 27 points. So we were this close, but all 3 of us managed to miss that. But if we were to put it all together, we would have hit. Just pick and
Hell
chose,
of a
we could just,
hell of a parlay.
yes, sir. But either way, I am looking forward to this finals. I do think so. Stuff I was hearing on the radio that at least made me more excited was they're talking about how the Knicks are a bigger team. To be honest, I haven't watched a whole lot of the Knicks this past year, but you got Karl Anthony Towns matching up against Wemby. We'll see if he can at least provide a little bit more resistance than Chet did. Then you got a bit bigger defensive team in New York, so we'll see how it plays out. So I still don't know who I'm going to like for the series. I'll tell you my bet here in a minute, but highly anticipated series. And Ferg, have you heard about what tickets are going for, especially when they get back to New York?
No, you mentioned this prior to the show a little bit, but you didn't get into the specifics of it. And it sounds like, I mean, I would expect it. This is the era that we live in. Everybody wants to flex and everybody wants to show how much money they may or may not have. And so people will shell out tons of money for these kind of events. Tell me, especially in the Empire State,
Yeah, so at Madison Square Garden, well, so I didn't really see anything on the Spurs, but I'm imagining obviously it's not cheap. No finals games are, but it started out in the article where nosebleeds, upper deck, we're looking at around $1,000 a ticket, which wasn't super surprising to me. But if you get anywhere in the lower bowl, it's starting out at $12,000 per ticket for game 3. Goes up
is
to
that
about
face value?
No, so this is on the secondary market.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
12,000 for game 3 jumps up to $14,000 for game 4. And if there is a game 6, you're looking at $22,000. for just in
Holy
that lower
shit.
bowl. Where in courtside tickets right now are going for $50,000 a pop for game 3.
It's crazy. Got to
Insane.
be where Spike is, got to be where
Yeah.
Spike is.
So you're looking at for potentially a series in New York. If they get the 3 games, you're looking at close to $500 million in ticket revenue alone. That's insane.
Wow. Wow. That is insane. But, here's the thing is something is only worth what somebody will pay for it. You know what I mean? And it sounds like people are willing to pay for this stuff. So more power to them.
Absolutely. Well, getting with the
It's like
series, I
that.
know that you think. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say it's like the Met Gala. They go in there and it's like $10,000-$15,000 a plate to get into that. So, I mean, at least that's a charity event, but
One day we will be invited. Can't wait for the day. Master betting
master
live from the
betting.
Met Gala.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll make sure we plan our outfits accordingly.
Absolutely. Go like Trey Parker and Matt Stone did to the Academy Awards, dressed up like J-Lo and Britney Spears on acid. But anyways, Ferg, actually getting to the basketball, you did mention that you like the Spurs in this series. You think this is Wemby's coming out party. Is that kind of, are you going to bet on a sweep for that, or you think this is going to go a few games?
I can't go with a sweep on that. I do think it'll go, they're probably going to see that game 6 in New York. But I can't go with a sweep. But yeah, I think it's Spurs, man. I think the Spurs are going to take them down, and it's a new era coming out party. They got a young team. They got a lot of young players, so they could be good for a long time. Dylan Harper, son of Ron Harper, coming off the bench. I mean, the kid's been phenomenal. So we'll see how things shake down. But yeah, give me the Spurs.
You know what? Just to make it a little bit interesting, Ferg, I think, and I was leaning this way, and I think it's just because of a certain national talk radio host that I was listening to when I was driving around today, but he was making some really good points. And I think I was even mentioned this before that I almost want to root for the Knicks. We'll actually see when the series tips off where my heart naturally goes. But just to make things a little bit more interesting, I'm going to go with the Knicks in this series at a plus
Okay.
150 Ferg. But you know what? I do have, so the line's for game 1. So Spurs are 5.5 point favorites, and that game over under is, 218.5. So give me Knicks to cover the plus 5.5, and I'm going to go under 218. Let these teams feel each other out, and that's going to be my master bet for game 1. Clackferg.
Well, keep an eye on socials. We'll be posting those bets up on game 1. And yeah, bro, click fucking clack. I'm going to root for your bet unless it doesn't run in line with mine. And then, and I haven't figured out what I'm doing yet, but I will definitely put a bet out on the social channels. So keep an eye out. Nugs will get his bet up on there and we'll have some fire fucking posters. So,
Can't wait. Can't wait to see what the graphic design team, the marketing team comes up with on this one. Ferg, it's always top notch. Well, Ferg, we'll have more time to talk about that. So I guess a couple other things we want to get to. First things first, next big news that actually happened today. It's kind of a slow time besides the OTAs, but we got some big things, big news popping in the NFL today.
Yeah. The off-season trades are happening. These guys, the teams, if they're going to make trades, they got to make them with enough time for these guys to get acclimated to their new team. Of course, we know all things can happen in the middle of the season, but right now is a hot time to get those trades done. And we saw something today. I'll let you teed it up, so I'll let you break it. You heard it here 7th.
Yeah. At the end of the day, yeah, it's been news circulating all around all the major networks. But so starting out, Los Angeles gets Myles Garrett in exchange for a first-round pick in 2027 and Jared Verse, who is an up-and-coming, he's a 2-time Pro Bowler already.
About to say, all-pro. Yep.
Yeah. So they're getting him in return, and Ferg, that immediately, just speaking of that trade in particular, last week when I was looking at, we might have talked about it on the podcast. The Los Angeles Rams and Seattle Seahawks were tied for Super Bowl favorites at plus 750. That immediately jumps them up to plus 600 favorites to win the Super Bowl. They're standing alone, and I think by about 150 points from the next nearest team. So clear on favorite. The Super Bowl is in LA this year, so very well could be Matt Stafford's last year. So at least on paper, in May, months before the Super Bowl, stars could be aligning. But Rams clear cut favorite to win the Super Bowl this year.
Love that. Not really. Well, I hate to tell the Rams fans this. If we have Rams fans that are listening, that's a great acquisition, and I'm super happy that you guys got Myles Garrett. He's a phenomenal player and a game changer, but it's the Cowboys' year. Pure and
Always
simple.
is.
Every year, bro, until it's not.
And then, so we thought, I mean, that was big enough. I mean, that was a big enough trade news for, I'd say, a week starting in early June, Ferg. But we got a
Yeah.
second one, and this one's been talked
Yep.
about really since, I mean, the end of the season, going into the combine, going into the draft, but finally happens. And that is, and why am I blanking on his name? Help me out here.
Are you talking about
the
OBJ?
Patriot.
The trade. So AJ Brown going to the
A.J. Brown.
Patriots. Yep.
My mouth keep wanting to say Antonio Brown, but I knew that wasn't right, and I was just malfunctioning
Yeah, I
hard.
get that.
So
I get that.
yeah, A.J. Brown, and that's for a 2028 first round pick and a 2027 fifth round pick. So not as much going back to the Eagles. I mean, still a first round pick that isn't surprising, but definitely makes the Patriots more dangerous. It gives Drake May, who was in MVP consideration last year, big time weapon.
Yeah, it does. We'll see how it shakes out. He hasn't been happy in his last two destinations. So part of me thinks that maybe the change of scenery will not really improve that. But good luck to him and the Patriots. If you want to see them win, I don't really care.
I don't either. Big news. So, I mean, all we ever really talk about, well, there's actually a couple other, and I don't want to call it big news, but as you're kind of scrolling on headlines today in the NFL, I guess Odell Beckham Jr., who's definitely lost a step with multiple knee injuries. I mean, I think I can name, since he left New York, he's been to LA, he's been to Miami, he's been to Baltimore. Can you think of any other teams?
Sorry, lost you there for a second. What did you say at the close there? But yeah, I know you were talking about Beckham, and I think that, like you said, I think he's past his prime. He might be able to bolster that wide receiver room a little bit and provide some veteran leadership. I never thought I'd say that about Odell Beckham Jr. being a veteran leader, but he might be able to be a good locker room guy and provide some perspective. And, I'm sure he's still got great hands.
Maybe just a possession guy. So we'll see. So with that addition, the New York Giants also lose a member of their team, and that's not to any team in particular. It's, I guess, to a broadcasting team. Russell Wilson, he didn't actually officially retire. So I still think he's keeping the door open, even though he's probably unwilling to bet that no teams want him. But Russell Wilson's going up in the studio with JB on CBS for Sundays this year.
He's like LeBron at the end of every season. He doesn't tell anybody if he's going to retire or if he's going to play the next year. He likes to keep that media buzz going. And when you're as high a profile guy as LeBron and, the likes of Russell Wilson, people are hanging on the edge of their seat to find out what you're doing at the end of every season, beginning of every season. And so for him to keep his options open, it only makes sense because, you might need somebody who needs an elite arm talent to lead their team into the playoffs come, week 6. You know what I mean? So again, welcome to CBS, Russ. Can't wait to see you cook, bro.
Well, and also, who knows? I mean, I think the Browns right now have 4 quarterbacks. So in their estimation, their quarterback room is looking pretty light right now. So he might get an opportunity to go spin the ball in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Because God knows.
That's a team on the rise.
Yeah. No kidding. I wonder what Jared Verse is thinking. I know they were talking about he is from Ohio and how this is a good thing for him. But, man, you got to imagine if you're a competitive football player and you get sent to Cleveland, that's probably not go from a Super Bowl contender to the Cleveland Browns. He's probably have some choice words today with his loved ones.
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see how long he keeps the doors open for a return, because it is interesting to see guys at the end of their career that hang on a little too tight. And I could see Russ being one of those guys. It's like oh man, this might piss off some of our listeners, but it's like the girl who used to be like super hot in high school, and then she, gains gains that freshman 15, maybe freshman 50, but still hangs on to the same clothing style that she used to rock. She does, even though you can, doesn't mean you should, right? Even though you can wear it, doesn't mean you should. Even though you can still play football, doesn't mean you should. And I kind of think that fits with some of these guys. They hang on a little too tight to the past.
You're just riding chalk at tail feathers.
Yeah, they're like the threads on that on that girl's dress, dude, just holding as tight as they can, you know what I mean?
I hear you. Like I said, he did not retire, but he is going up in the booth. I think anything to keep the spotlight on him to some extent. So I'd not be surprised if, as the injury bug hits, as the season gets going, if he steps away and Uncle Rico's it.
Yep, yep. Yeah, if they put him in, they might win the Super Bowl. Who knows? I don't think they put him in.
Who knows? Well, Ferg, and then the last big thing, we've been talking about it, and I know we've talked about some preliminary bets, but it's almost upon us. We're one podcast episode away. We'll be talking about it even more next week, but a week from Thursday, World Cup kicks off. First games at 1 p.m. on Thursday, June 11th, and the most notable game I'd say for us, mainly just due to proximity, is Mexico. Mexico's first game is 1 p.m. on Thursday, so I guess in our country and in Mexico, there'd be a lot of attention towards that. And the World Cup, it's on. 3 weeks of group stage play kicks off, so got a lot of soccer
Love
ahead of
that.
us.
Love that. Well, I love the World Cup. There's a lot of national and, country pride going on there. So it's fun. I love when countries meet up to get together to compete against one another. The Olympics, the World Baseball Classic, those types of things. I love it. And so this is just another example, something we don't get very often. How often does it come? Every 3 years?
Every 4
2
years.
years? Every
4
4
years.
years. And so anyway, it's a great event, and it always gets me real excited for soccer.
No doubt. Yeah, so the U.S. kicks off Friday, so they got a primetime game at 7 o'clock. They play against Paraguay, and they're in a group. Their 3 group stage games they have Paraguay, and they play about a week apart, so it's like football, but American football by having a week in between games. First game is against Paraguay. Their second game is against Australia. Third game against Turkey. Historically speaking, with those matches, that looks like a pretty decent road for the U.S. to make it to the knockout stage. But I've been disappointed in that team before, so hopes are meh, but I'll be watching nonetheless.
Yeah, I get it. And that's good news to hear that they have what could be considered a favorable path to the knockout stages. I looked that up because we talked about that a little bit in the pre-production meeting as well, if we were going to call out any live betting on the World Cup. And I still think that there's some bets that I can put together to make this, a good sports betting event. That being said, what I told you is I was going to bet for the USA to get into the knockout stages, and the odds were at plus 125 for the US to do that. So really, that's not enough odds for me, Nugs.
Okay, what about?
I know you'll throw out $100 to win too, but I won't.
Actually, Ferg, I'm glad you called that out. So, what was that on? We actually posted it on our social media, Ferg, but I put in a live bet when the Carolina Hurricanes were up 3-0 in that game 5. I went out on a limb and I threw $100 for the Hurricanes money line. So that $100 paid out 102, $2 net, Ferg. So I knew you were proud. I was hoping to get a laugh out of that one, but hey, we had a master bet hit. I'll tell you what, so we posted.
Love it. Love it. No, that's funny, man. That's good stuff. But yeah, I do look forward to the World Cup and look forward to, just watching the games somewhat casually, but I'm definitely going to be getting some action.
No doubt. And Ferg, I did call out on the last, and nothing's changed. So France and Spain are both still favorites at plus, I believe it's plus 650, or maybe I'm confusing that with the Super Bowl winner, but France and Spain are the favorites. I do know, I think right around 6 is the Netherlands, the Dutch. They're at plus 2,000. And this is purely an emotional bet. I did go to Amsterdam on my honeymoon. And Ferg, I just think that we'd thrive in Amsterdam. They got legal tree. I guess we have that here, and legal master
Yep, yep.
betting. Master betting would thrive in Amsterdam. So, soft spot in my
I
heart.
agree.
Plus 2,000. Go Dutch.
Oh, you're gonna throw a little master betty on that?
Yeah, I want to. I think I will. To win it all.
Hey, can you tell me where the Germans sit?
Where the Germans sit. Ferg, if you give me a second, why your
because
affinity for the Germans?
why? Well, I had a German exchange student for a little while growing up, and I have a Germany jersey, so go Germans. If we're speaking like outside of the United States, of course, I'm going Team USA. I'll throw a little master betting on that, maybe $5 to see if it'll pay something. But yeah, give me the Germans.
Deutschland is plus 1,300.
There you go.
So
Lock it up.
your
Click,
boy
clack,
Dirk,
$10,
your boy
130.
So your boy Dirk would be excited about that too. But Ferg, either way, and I did lie. Spain is actually now the favorite at plus 450. France close behind at plus 500. So,
Love
but
it.
fuck the Spaniards, fuck the French. Let's go Dutch.
USA.
When in doubt, go Dutch. Yeah, go Yanks.
Love it.
So they're plus 5,000 for put $10, win 500.
Get it, boy.
Just an option. Well, Ferg,
Well, you
we're
trying to talk
actually
me into that? I've
impressed.
already got my underdog bet. That's the Germans.
All right. Well, either way, double down on another underdog.
There it is. No.
Well, Ferg, I'm proud of us. We actually made a full episode. We thought it was going to be a little bit shorter, but still lots to cover. But I think that's about it for this episode. Am I missing anything? Anything you want to?
Yeah, we really didn't get into baseball, but it's that, again, the dog days of summer, nothing really to note. I will say that I had a master bet on maybe it was Saturday, I think it was Saturday, and the last leg of the parlay that I needed to hit, it was a $10 bet that was going to pay $2,000. And the last leg was the Giants to beat the Rockies, and the Rockies beat them 7-0. So I lost that $10.
I think the night before the Giants were smoking them.
Yeah, no. And then they came back. That was the night after the Rockies walked it off in the bottom of the ninth. Ezekiel Tovar, Hunter Goodman came up, hit a 2-run shot to tie it up, and then Ezekiel Tovar hit a walk-off. So it was a great game Friday night.
Nice. Did not pay attention. And then
you never know when that's good.
Real quick. While we're on the topic of baseball, isn't the World Series of Baseball coming up? I know there was a slate of college games the other day.
Oh, I get what you're saying. Yeah, there's a lot of college games going off right now. And yeah, look for that in the coming month where college baseball will wrap up. Yeah, definitely.
Right on. Well, Ferg, as always, it's been a pleasure, brother.
Pleasure's all mine, brother. Look, again, we say this every time. Follow us on social media, interact, engage, like, share, and show us your bets. Show us what you're working with. We get out here, we put it out on the line for you guys every week. And it's not something we do, with any kind of motive except to share and engage. But we'd love for you guys to show us what you're working with. So, hey, show us your bets.
Show us your bets. Click motherfucking clack. Gorilla Pop. Take us out.
Click, clack.